I mean, you've had some very good speakers that are speaking at the kind of practical, everyday computer security industry. So I'm not going to do that, probably because I wouldn't be that good at it. The WikiLeaks has a threat model, but it's it's a very high threat model. Absurd, in fact. I mean, the UK government, by 2015, by the middle of 2015, admitted just one department alone had spent £12.6 million. It was very embarrassing on surveilling me. It was very embarrassing, and so in response, they classified the budget. So the budget figures have not been released, and they certainly haven't been released for others. So that's a high threat level environment. It's very interesting, I suppose, all the means that we've come up with to deal with that environment, but they are in some sense unique to a small to mid-sized organization operating at the highest levels, of which I'm not sure that there are any others than us. I suppose that there are some independence groups and terrorist organizations, but at least on the terror side, obviously it's quite a different game to the one that we're engaged in. Okay, but there is a much bigger threat to everyone, and I see it like this. Some of you, well, at the time of the Los Alamos project, physics, Western physics, became harmonized because you brought the different physics traditions from across Europe, the leading figures, to the United States and to Los Alamos, and then you had a harmonization of nomenclature and understanding, and those people then spread out. So one of those people was Enrico Fermi, an Italian physicist, very interesting man. One night, Enrico Fermi was out walking amongst in Los Alamos with some of his physicist buddies, and he looked up at the stars and said, "Where is everyone?" And so you're going to freak out a little bit because, yes, I'm bringing in the aliens into this part of the talk to answer this question. His question is very deep. It's that there don't appear to be any. And by appear, I mean there are no physical signs that we can detect in terms of what happens to stars. The energy seems to be constantly boiling off, being wasted into space. We don't hear radio signals. We don't see anything of civilized life. And yet, in the last 10 years, we see in the last 10 years, the astrophysics of planetary astrophysics has shown that there's tens of thousands of extrasolar planets that we have actually detected on an individual basis. And from that, you can assemble the probabilities of there being Earth approximating planets. And there's hundreds of millions, maybe billions, just in this galaxy. So the question then becomes, well, where is the civilized life? Why don't we see it? Why don't we see any signs of it anywhere? And so the answers to that are, well, it could be the reasons we don't see signs of civilized life with our increasingly powerful measurement apparatus is because life simply doesn't evolve. Life itself. That's why we don't see civilized life. There's something very rare about the Earth that means that life here evolved. But when we look at the Earth and when we look at extrasolar planets, we don't see any reason why that should be true. In fact, we see organic amino acids in space dust and asteroids and so on. And we know that asteroids cross-pollinate. For example, there's asteroids here from Mars, bits of Earth has gone to Mars, etc. when we get hit by an asteroid and stuff flies off, etc. So there's quite a lot of reason to believe that the basic building blocks of life have spread widely. So my view, and I think it's the only view you can take so far until more data comes in, is that there's something very unstable about civilization. There's something very unstable about technologically advanced civilization that means it doesn't go on for long. And I think the answer to that is the very rapid competition, if you like, the light speed competition that occurs when you wire up the world to itself. And that very rapid competition can have two fates. And number one, it can produce very robust artificial intelligences that are then coupled with their states. You can see that panning out in the United States and China as they each shore up. They're going to take, those two forces are going to take essentially all the market. And the rapid competition between them with the backing and support of the states behind them, and the exacerbation of the commercial competition through geopolitical competition will lead to an uncontrollable desire for growth in artificial intelligence capacity. Leading to very severe conflict or stultification. There's interesting. You can follow these trajectories in different ways. It takes too long to describe. So I think that's our biggest threat. It is geopolitical competition, removing what otherwise might be sensible human controls on the development of artificial intelligence. That geopolitical competition harnessed by and itself harnessing the largest artificial intelligence companies to ratchet up a process which human beings can no longer control. Not in the sense of there being killer robots, although, of course, Google is now putting its AI in drones and so on, so yeah, there are killer robots. Not in this classic dystopian sense, but rather in a way that comes from understanding how human institutions behave, which is institutions that are built on competition and growing their size and dominating markets, etc., take any advantage they get and will continue to ratchet up in competition. And everything that they produce has that DNA in it. And that's where we're headed. And that's a severe threat to human beings in general and all businesses. But perhaps the answer to that threat is people understand computer security, offensive computer security in particular, trying to work out what to do about it.